Hello, fellow Jedi Masters. Welcome to another YouTube session for the squad. Today, we're going to be going over one of the most confused, maligned, misconstrued, controversial topics within the regular 5e sphere, but especially the Star Wars 5e sphere, the Adventuring Day. This is something I found so much confusion on, and sometimes a lot of false information on too. So for lack of a better way to put it, so I wanted to take it. This is something. It's a mechanic I think works well when utilized properly. So I wanted to go over it in depth, and especially because if you're playing Star Wars 5e, your players are strong. It's a tough it's tough to challenge them, but utilizing that Adventure Day mechanic properly will allow you to bring that challenge, keep your players at the edge of their seats, get a little bit of tension brewing too. So we're gonna go into that and make sure everything is known and utilized properly. Hopefully by the end of this video, just using a little bit of the knowledge I've come across because I like good tactical combat. I like to have players just kind of gripping the edge of their seats, but still knowing that it's going to be a fun session and still kind of good, well balanced, even if it's hard and kind of kicking them down the street. So hopefully stay tuned, and I can impart a little bit of what I've learned, and you'll find it valuable, and hopefully you can bring it to your tables and have some fun with it too. Before we go into it, though, if you haven't, sub to Dungeon Jedi Masters YouTube. We're always gonna have videos like this for the Star Wars 5e system that'll help you run it and make it easier. Just gotta see what we've kind of accumulated with our knowledge as we've gone through playing with the system through the years and how you can apply that to your table. So sub to us. We always love to help bring newcomers into the hobby. Also, we put a lot of our actual plays on there. So I've got my Invasion actual play campaign every other Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, with one coming Tuesday the 15th of February. If you watch this before then, jump on. You'll see my Twitch below at Twitch /Tegan DJM. Join me there. We'll play live 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Get to see some of these principles in action and follow the channel too if you like what you see. And Todd also has his Hut Space campaign, which is would be Wednesday. Would that be Wednesday the 16th? Yeah, Wednesday the 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time too. Is a mini series, so a great one to pop on. Is they're doing 3 sessions. They did one last week, which will be on the YouTube Monday. They're doing 2 coming up as well. So check it out. See the system live play. And if you like what you see too, and you like what you see in this video, support our Jedi Master Patreon. Cool thing we're doing with this one too. So I made a document with some cool how-to tips on how to run an adventuring day for your party. As well as examples, an example adventuring day for a party of 4 level 3 PCs. So you could take that, if you got some level 3 PCs, you could throw it right in the mix, run it, challenge them, kind of get them kind of sweating behind the dice heads as they're going through, just keeping them on their toes, especially for the Star Wars 5e PCs. It's nice to be able to bring that challenge to them every once in a while, and I wanted to make sure you have some tools and resources to do so, because the tips and tricks are just kind of what I usually utilize when I make my own encounters, and just some of the usual 5e, just kind of things I found that some 5e players assume that may not always be true in there as well too. So check it out. I think it's worthwhile. It's available for all of our Dungeon Jedi Master Patreons. So Padawan all the way up to Master, it'll be on there. There'll be a link in the YouTube as well. Check it out. Join the Discord. Let me know what you think. Love the feedback. But let's dive into it. So before we go into it, this is what I really recommend reading. Hopefully you can see it now. The Dungeon Masters Guide. I want to say Dungeon Jedi Masters, but this is just a regular Dungeon Masters Guide, the regular 5e. This is where you'll be able to find a lot of what you need to learn to run the game properly, whether it be in a galaxy far, far away with Star Wars 5e, or just in the mundane fantasy world with regular 5e. Because Star Wars 5e doesn't have its own Dungeon Masters Guide. Really hard not to add the Jedi there. But with the Dungeon Masters Guide, we utilize the same one because most of what is included in there holds true. We did a podcast on this too, so I'm going to include the link to the podcast below too. But read the Dungeon Masters Guide. I've said in the podcast, it's poorly laid out, so my first time going through it, I skimmed and read what I thought would be interesting. do the same thing. Watch or listen to the podcast. I call out some cool things. So does Todd. Those could really be some good ways to fine tune on what will be worthwhile. But today we're talking about adventuring day, so let's get into the adventuring day piece of it. So here we go. So let's flip all that side so you can see the Dungeon Masters Guide Adventuring Day XP walkthrough. So this is on page 84 of the Dungeon Masters Guide, so it kind of correlates to the PDF as well as the book itself. This is in part of the creating encounters piece of the chapter, and it just really goes over what's to include for your party. And the reason I did this, and you'll see there's a part highlighted too, and I'm going to stress this a bit, but I see so many times on Reddit, Discord, all over for 5e, and especially Star Wars 5e, my players steamroll my encounters. They're too powerful. The PCs are too strong. I can't make a challenge against them. They beat my deadly encounter like it was nothing. And usually when I ask questions or take a look into it and kind of just follow up or read in the threads, a lot of times they're not using Adventuring Day XP. A lot of times, sadly, or not sadly, but a lot of times too, it's they're putting one big encounter in front of their PCs a day. And if you do that, your PCs will stop. Even if you do 2 times deadly, they're going to run right through it. Especially if your players know you're only going to put that one encounter per day. They're going to go Nova every encounter. They're going to be using their optimal strategy. They're going to use all their abilities, and they can hit way above their weight class. Because 5e, and then by definition, Star Wars 5e, since it's designed along the same principles, is based on the Adventuring Day mechanic. And what that means is that we're using the Adventuring Day to challenge our parties. And with the Adventuring Day and through the 5e style system, we're challenging our parties by having them go through a series of encounters. So if you're going in fresh, full resources every time, the players are going to stop because there's nothing holding them back. Because they can go in and use their best abilities, use their coolest features, and just spam the hell out of them and demolish anything you put in front of them. But when you're using that Adventuring Day mechanic, and you'll see, we're going to go through the table, we're going to go through all the cool, intricate features on that side, you're going to burn a lot of those resources. They're going to have to use some of those resources just to stay alive for some of those smaller fights to keep them in the game. So when they do come to a big fight, they're going to be able to fight it. They're going to come up strong. But they're not going to be able to go Nova. They're not going to be able to supernova all your cool stuff. So they're going to play a little tactical, which I think is fun. I find it fun for my games. Hopefully your players find it fun for their games too. Because if you go Nova every time, are you really going Nova? Then you're just doing your normal. So it's fun to give them chances to go Nova, but other chances where they got to play smart. Keep the resources close to the vest. And stay in the game a little bit longer. So hopefully this will help you do that. So an often bandied around phrase for 5e. As you go, you have to do 6 to 8 encounters per day to make it challenging. Yes, they did recommend that as an example. You'll see in the highlighted in yellow piece is something I point out. I'm the old grumpy man on the forums. I'm like, no, you don't have to do 6 to 8. You could do as many encounters as it takes to burn their XP. So, if you do medium to hard encounters, that could be 6 to 8. If you do deadly encounters, that could be 3. 3 deadlies usually equals your full Adventuring Day XP. You can do more, or you can combine those too if you want to do 2. Usually I recommend doing at least 3. 3 to 4 is my sweet spot, but play it to how you find best. So you see that highlighted piece, and I know I've already explained it, but I'm going to read it because it's a pet peeve of mine within the 5e sphere. So I'm getting on my old man soapbox. I'm going to read this piece too because nobody reads this. Not, a lot of people, I should say, don't read this paragraph. If the adventurer has more easy encounters, the adventurers could get through more encounters per day. So if you wanted to do a whole bunch of easy and medium encounters, you're more than welcome to. That's a little bit too much for me. I like to keep it like 3 to 4, 3 to 5 occasionally. But if it has more deadly encounters, they can handle fewer. So if you want to do 4 encounters a day, easily doable as long as you're using their full Adventuring Day XP. Also, little piece of advice too, because I see this sometimes being like a kind of a common concern. You don't have to fit sessions to long rest or long rest to sessions. phrase it however it works best to your brain. But for your players, I often do for my adventures, my dungeons, for lack of a better way to put it. We're gonna go into dungeons a little bit too, but 3 to 4 sessions. So I like to have about a 60-40 split between 60 being RP, 40 being combat. So I usually do about 1, sometimes 2 for a big combat session, combats per day, encounters per day, or per session, I should say. So usually with me doing 3 to 4 combat encounters per adventuring day, that usually translates to 3 to 4 sessions. Usually about 3, because I like to have my arcs in 3 sessions per game. So usually it's per long rest, 3 sessions. So they'll go through those encounters. They will just have your players keep track of it. And especially a lot of us playing online, you can keep track of it right in your digital sheet pretty easily. But even for some of the old school players, I still, up until COVID, I played in person. Just having your players write down the stats. And if they're really struggling with that and you want to babysit a bit, have them tell you the stats at the end of the game, which I don't recommend. I've done it before, but if you got to do it, you got to do it. So you do you and find what works for you best with your players in the table. But so the cool thing with this, we've already went through that you could have 6 to 8, 3 to 4, depending on how you want to play it. Use the full Adventuring Day XP. Let's find the Adventuring Day XP. So on that page 84 is the Adventuring Day XP table. So you'll see this is per day per character. So if you've got a level 3 character, and we've got a breakdown of that Patreon document I was telling you all about, I did level 3 PCs, 4 level 3 PCs. So you see the average level, or the 3 PC can handle 1200 XP per day. So for 4 players, that'd be 4800 XP per day that they'd split between their encounters. Also forgot to mention, this is going to be a 3-part series. Initially, I was going to do this all in one, but I was kind of going through and I was getting my notes together, and I found that this is going to be best split between 3 parts. So I wanted to do, and I'm kind of doing this backwards a little bit if you look from a certain point of view, but I feel like I'm going from the most important piece down to the lessers. But the 3 pieces of this are going to be Adventuring Day XP, which is what you guys are watching right now. So just going through how to set your adventuring day, cool tips and tricks and resources to build that up properly. The next one is going to be CR. So CR, challenge rating as well as challenge rating encounters. They're often another misconstrued one too. So we're going to go into that pretty in depth. And so high level overview. So we've got 4 level 3 PCs at 4800 XP per day. For 4 level 3 PCs, the deadly encounter is 1600 XP. So times that by 3, 4800. See, the math lines up. But as you see, I said deadly too. So the challenge rating encounters and challenge rating for monsters, I feel like is one of the more misunderstood pieces of 5e too. So that's going to be part of this series. So over the next, let's say, month and a half, I'm going to drop a video every so now and then. So the next one will be challenge rating and how that fits in. After that is going to be monster tactics. How to bring that challenge rating to the forefront while you're playing your monsters and your bad guys. One of the big things I found with DMing myself and playing with other people and reading the forums is that when you run the monsters, a lot of times DMs, like they love to play PC stories and don't want them to end, which is definitely true. Like, you gotta make sure you make sure the PCs are having fun. But sometimes we go too far to the left. We go too easy on them. And for CR, and we're gonna go this pretty heavily in the CR video, for determining the CR of a monster, we use their most deadly attack for 3 rounds. So for casters, we use the highest level or highest damage level spell they can use. And if they can only use that once, we go the highest level, second highest level, third highest level, and calculate the damage, and that's what's going to be their overall output. So if you're handicapping your monster by not using their most vicious attacks or their most deadly attacks, they're not going to perform to the CR. They're going to underperform, which is going to allow your players to stomp all over them, especially if you're in Star Wars 5e. So play your monsters like they want to win. And then the tactics video, because sometimes you want to play your monsters like they want to win, but sometimes you're in an over-tuned encounter when you want to ease it back, kind of dial off the gas a little bit without your players noticing. We're going to go over in tactics how to dial off the gas or ease off the gas without letting your players notice. Because I open roll. If you've watched Invasion or my old Hunted series, you'll see in the dice roller on a Roll20, all my rolls are public. I I don't hide my rolls. I don't fudge rolls. But I usually don't. I've never TPK'd a party. And I've had some pretty challenging counters. I've had some counters where it doesn't look good for the party. But you could go hard on the gas and make it like more challenging by upping those tactics, or you can ease off the gas and give a little breathing room by just changing up the monster tactics and keeping them in character. Try to keep them in character, but also give your players a little bit of breathing room if the counter goes a little bit harder. So that'll be the third video too. But this is Adventuring Day. So we've already gone through the Adventuring Day XP, how that works. A couple other tips I've got outside of go use the full XP, play your monsters like they want to win. Those are a couple of the big ones, just to really make sure they're keeping them challenging. But as I've said, and as everybody says, Star Wars 5e PCs are stronger. You want to make sure that your monsters are able to deal with that. So there's kind of a rule of thumb I've got. Take it for what you will. This is what my experience has said. But go through and kind of see if it works well for your party. Star Wars 5e PCs are strong as hell. But there's two ways I handle them depending on what level they're at. For PCs below level 5, I treat them like they are the same level they are. So level 3 PC would get that 1200 XP per day. But I times it by like 10 to 20%. So in the document I used, I'm not sure, I didn't do the math on this, so hopefully it comes out about the same. They've got, I think, 5,300 worth of XP, so about 500 over that 4,800 XP that they should be allocated per the day. So a bit over that side, I think hopefully about 20%, that's usually what I shoot for, on that side to keep them on their toes while still within the Adventuring Day XP mechanic. The reason I do that is because you'll see right in the calculator, when you hit level 5, you jump over double your XP. So you see it's kind of gradually going up on that side, but you double it up pretty quickly because level 5, you get that level 3 spells or powers from Star Wars 5e. You get extra attack. You get ridiculous stuff that makes you so much stronger. And while Star Wars 5e PCs are stronger than regular 5e PCs, they have the same HP. So HP is something to be cognizant of and be aware of. So I usually don't treat them, do my second level, or kind of what I do for level 5 PCs and above, I don't do that for them. Because level 5 PCs and above, I usually actually treat them like they're a level higher than they are. So level 5 PC will be level 6, level 6 PC will be level 7. That's usually a good way I found for both the challenge and counter ratings, as well as the Adventuring Day XP, to keep them challenged. Now, if your party has a ton of enhanced items or magic weapons, bump that up a little bit. So I usually try to keep track of what I've given the party, what they've given access to, what enhanced items, the modifications they have. And once I've given them this kind of the over-the-hill amount, I treat them like they're 2 levels up. Sometimes 3 levels up. You'll still play well. Remember HP. We're going to go over that in the challenge rating and tactical videos. But remember HP. But for overall, you should be fine doing that, depending on how much you give them, how useful it is, what rating those items are. And as I said, we're going to go over those in more videos, but today is just Adventuring Day XP. So, keeping all that in mind, this is like truly, if there's one sage piece of advice I would give, and I'm not a sage, but I like combat, I've played with combat, and unless they're just trying to be nice to me, my players see I've been good at DMing fair, balanced, but really challenging, nerve-wracking combat. That's what I like. I like the DMC, the players kind of leading in, thinking about what they can do, planning, strategizing, working together, and then coming out the other end victorious because they feel it's earned. And especially, I know there's a huge debate between open rolling and rolling behind the screen. I don't want to get into that, but I open roll so they know when they beat it, they beat it. I didn't cheat them out of anything. I didn't make it harder just by changing my rolls. I didn't make it easier by fudging my rolls. They know when they beat it, they beat it because they came through. Their PCs pull it in. So take that for what you will. A little piece of my advice, but biggest piece to be able to get that feeling in there is the Adventuring Day XP mechanic, because this is really how you get everything balanced. Because if you let your players go Nova, they're going to burn up the world. So I beat that horse to death. Let's take a quick look at our document that is going to be available for all of our Patreons. So if you are a Patreon of Dungeon Jedi Masters, you could take a look at these documents. This has some of the tips and tricks, why Adventure Day XP or Adventure Day mechanic matters. We've already went through a lot of that, but I wrote some cool things in there, so you got that handy. We also have tips and tricks. You'll see, read the DMG. It's poorly laid out, but there's cool stuff in it. I also included some of the page numbers in there for both the Adventure Day, the challenge rating. Where did I put that? Challenge rating for the encounter chart on there. All those are very important to keep in mind. But we also have our encounters. So we've got 3 encounters in here too. As I said, I spent too much time on this. So I actually went through and made villains that you could use on this for this adventure. So I've got different ones you could go through and throw into the game and have some cool fun with them. So use this, play it with your PCs, and hopefully have a blast with it too, because I've had some fun making these, and hopefully you'll enjoy them with them too. And this is for a level 3 table, for level 3 for 4 PCs, but it goes over how to use the Adventuring Day mechanic. So if you have more, less, kind of add, drop, it gives you some tools on how to do that. But this would be a good way to challenge them, have a free days or Adventure Days worth of encounters you can throw in there, and make sure that they're having fun. So check it out. Let me know what you think by posting in our Discord and our comments on that side. I'd love to hear your feedback. But overall, this is for our Patreons, all tiers. I'll have a link right below. But overall, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another Dungeon Jedi Masters kind of how to listen to me rant about the Adventuring Day mechanic. As I said, it's often maligned. It's often said it's not the way people play, but I feel like if you use it, you kind of know what it means and you know how to tweak it. And as I said, this is going to be a 3-part series, so Adventuring Day is the first because I think it's the crucial piece. But we're going over challenge rating, tactics as well. If you use these 3, you're going to have challenging encounters. You're going to have your players at the edge of their seats. And you're going to know not only how to make those challenging encounters, but you're going to know how to dial it up and dial it down right in the session too, in case they're stomping or in case you're stomping, and how to make it fun, make it fair, and how to keep everybody engaged at the table. So, if you enjoy what I had to say, like the video, subscribe to Dungeon Jedi Masters YouTube. If you want to see me do it and see if I actually live up to my word, subscribe to Tegan DJM at Twitch. You can put that in there and you'll see my live videos. So I'm doing Invasion, Tuesday the 15th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then every 2 weeks from there. But I'm also going to be doing Rogue Squadron, too. So I'm doing some Starfighter stuff. The Rogue Squadrons and the Warlords of Sereno, starting March 8th and March 22nd. So those are Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the off Tuesday for Invasion. So check me out there, subscribe. And also, I'm getting close to 50 followers. And I post this on YouTube, I think, and also on the Twitch. But if I get 50 followers for all of our patrons, I'm going to be introducing a space encounter for our Invasion Patreon campaign. So something you can throw right into there and get the space piece on too. So subscribe, follow. Hopefully if we get that before the end of February, everybody's get that. Every patron's get that space encounter. So check us out there. But overall, thank you guys for your time, and may the Force be with you.